Buenos dias, mis amigos and amigas. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Audacious Confidence Show. And I I almost said it in, let me see if I can remember, Confianza Audaz. Hopefully I said that right. Confianza Audaz. The Audacious Confidence Show here on Dreamaniac TV. It is Cinco de Mayo. So I just wanted to welcome all of you who are celebrating that today on the show. So I have a really great show for you today. And before I bring my guests up, I typically like to talk a little bit about the topic that we're going to be discussing, because this is a new one for me. It is something that in the beauty industry, I have been in the beauty industry. And, we see it all the time. We see it a lot. But my guest is going to talk more in depth about it, because she not only is also in the beauty industry, but she's also had her own experience with it. I've never had any experience with it. So I'm just going to give you my opinion, if that's okay. So really, we're talking today about plastic surgery, and whether you are for it or against it, whether you are whether it's taboo, like you do it, but then you're hush hush, you're not telling anybody about it, or you're bragging about it. It's something that in society, it's one of those things that can be polarizing, because there are some people who feel that you have to be naturally beautiful and you have to look natural and you have to just stay the way that you were created. And then there are some who just can't get enough of fixing and doing and, plumping and pulling and everything like that. So, whichever side of it you're on, we are going to just give you some information, some education about it. And hopefully, if it's something that you choose, that you will make good choices that are educated choices, and not try to go on the cheap or try to go and do something that is really not necessary. For me, I was having this conversation with a couple of friends of mine yesterday and today, and I was talking to them about, that I'm doing the show on plastic surgery and that I really haven't had an experience. And they said, well, why would you? You don't need any plastic surgery. But, it's not something that I've completely ruled out ever having in my life. I've never ruled it out. I've just, been blessed to have great genes right now, that it's never been something that I've looked into. But I have never, ever, ever judged anyone else for having Botox done or having a procedure done, if it made them really feel more confident about themselves. What I do have a challenge with is when someone is having plastic surgery because they don't like themselves. And instead of really going deep and fixing what's on the inside, why don't you love yourself? Why are you so negative about yourself? They keep trying to fix what they see on the outside, because sometimes when you don't love yourself, what you see on the outside is distorted. You have a distorted view of yourself that other people don't see. And trying to get procedure after procedure after procedure to fix something that you're seeing, you'll never be satisfied. And, sometimes I watch this show called Botched. And a lot of times the people who are on that show have had, 5, 6, 7 procedures done, 5 nose jobs done, to the point that their nose is collapsing. And so that's where I think you really need to start looking inward. If you don't like who you are or what you see, and you're trying to fix it by having plastic surgery, instead of really understanding what is happening on the inside of you, then that's kind of where I have a little challenge with it. But a little nip tuck here is not, I don't think anything is wrong with that. So I am going to talk with my guest, who is a great friend of mine. She's one of my dearest friends. She's in New York City. Her name is Maria Miliotis, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Maria's background. Maria is the founder of Faceworks International. It is a branding and beauty company, and she has run that company for over 2 decades. And she started it as a celebrity makeup artist and model here in Miami. She left Virginia to come to Miami. She is Greek. She's a beautiful Greek woman, and she was signed up with the Ford modeling agency, and she did a lot of magazine editorials. She became a makeup artist and hairstylist, and has been rocking it out in New York City, doing weddings, doing photo shoots, doing corporate branding shoots. She is phenomenal. She knows what she's talking about when we talk about the beauty industry. She's seen it. She's done it. So I would love, hi Sanjit, thank you for watching. I would love to, hey, hola, Javier. Yes, confianza, audaz. I did it right. So I would love to bring to my show my dear friend, Maria Miliotis, and we're going to talk about plastic surgery.
Thank you for that introduction. I feel like a rock star.
It's you like, are a rock star, girl. Yeah, you know, I'm very impressed because when we met, you were living here in South Florida, in Boca.
Yes.
And you told me one day, I'm moving to New York, and you just packed up and off you went.
Why not? And now under the circumstances, I'm going to be packing up and leaving again, I think.
So that's some audacious confidence, girl.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's been a fun, wild ride. You know, it's important to take chances in life and not be fearful. You know, that's what you promote, being fearless.
Well, it's not even not being fearful, but even if you feel the fear, you do it anyway.
Absolutely. That's what's exciting about it. That's what I don't understand. You know, sometimes people feel like they have to be the best at
everything. Perfect.
I never felt like I was the greatest or the best at anything. All I knew is that I had courage and I had an interest and a passion, and why not give it a try? So that's exciting, not intimidating. So we have to take our ego out of it sometimes and just live life with passion.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about the beauty industry. Now, you've been in the beauty industry over 2 decades.
I've been in the beauty industry for 3 decades.
I didn't want to say
over 3 decades.
Over 3 decades, because we are
years.
We are around the same age. So I'll say it that way. We're the same age right now until the end of the month. We sure are.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the beauty industry for a little bit.
Sure.
You have seen a lot of stuff. Now, when it comes to plastic surgery, you've seen some bad work done and you've seen some good work done. Let's talk about the bad work, because before I was talking about people who just don't like themselves and they just have stuff done over and over to the point where it's unbelievable.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't think it's like necessarily always about the plastic surgery is to blame, or that it's just, you know, people have mental issues, they have emotional problems, they have obsessive compulsive behavior, so that they need to see a psychiatrist, you know. So that gives sometimes things like surgery a negative connotation, and it shouldn't be that way. But to answer your question, some of the things that I've seen. So over the years, I believe that the skill set of surgery has been much better than what it used to be. I think that there's, you know, a lot of advanced treatments. I think that people are starting younger and having tweaks and just
which I heard is suggested, by the way. I heard that is more suggested to start doing little tweaks younger.
Absolutely.
Like especially Botox.
Well, I mean, I don't think like with the Botox, that's not necessarily. They say that with lines at rest, if you started at a younger age, then when you're constantly frowning, and I haven't had, with this quarantine, I haven't had any Botox, so I can demonstrate by furrowing my brows. A little movement, I don't necessarily like this angry, bolt that goes on there. I like a little bit of movement. But they said that when if you decide, let's say you've had this thing across and you're furrowing your brows, then even if you have the Botox here and here, you'll still have some lines at rest because you had that for so long. So when you start doing it, let's say, I think 20s is a little young, but everybody's different, but I think like if you start having things done, like in your 30s, let's say, a little tweaks along the way, it's just like you're patching up a little bit. And the way that they do things is also different. So facelifts years ago, what they would do is they would pull the skin. So the women would just wait until their skin was to their chest and they would just pull everything up. And that's it. Or it looks like, their wind blow.
Everything from your knees.
Right. They just pull it up. And they just pulled it up. Okay. So, but now what they do, and the ideal way to do it, is they go underneath the muscle, which is much more invasive. But if they go underneath the muscle, they can do sections. They can do a section underneath here. They can do a section here. This can be left separately, and just having like an eye tuck. So when they're able to do that, if you do that starting, and I would say, and I think that I'm not a plastic surgeon, but I've seen enough and have consulted that when you start in your 40s, that's an ideal time to start.
Don't wait till you're 75.
Do not wait until you're 75 for several reasons. First of all, it's going to be like, what happened? Who's that?
We've seen some of those.
Right. And listen, and if there's older ladies listening to this, I'm not saying you can't do anything, but you got to have a really good health,
good health. Yeah.
Health record. Exactly. So when you're in your 60s or 70s or 80s, like, what medication are you on? What do you really want it? Because it's
and the healing process.
You're being put to sleep.
And the healing, how well are you going to heal?
It's very difficult on the body to be able to go through something like that. So ideally, when you start in your 40s, it doesn't really look like. I had my lower lip done, but people were like, "I can't. You look exactly the same."
That's what you want. And it's like a good makeup job too. When you do a good makeup job, someone's not supposed to look at you and go like, "Oh my God, like, who are you?"
Exactly.
And
who are you? What are you?
Who are you? Or you don't want someone to say, "Oh wow, you've got fabulous makeup." You don't ever want someone to compliment your makeup job and not compliment you looking good, or looking, "Oh wow, you look refreshed," or "You look beautiful," or you want someone to compliment you. When someone compliments your makeup, you're wearing too much.
Absolutely. You want to be the best version of yourself. And that's also for men. There's a stigma about men. "Oh, that's for women." No, it's not. There's men that have surgery done. They want to look good. They may not want these jowls that are starting to form. They may have like a double chin eyelid that's happening, or a double chin, or people that lose weight and, they feel a little uncomfortable. There's nothing wrong with that.
Sometimes you get that kind of
kinds of things and stuff like that. So they want to have things done. So I don't think that everybody, listen, it's an individual thing. What's important is that you're in good health. Know that when you wait too long, it becomes more difficult. Ideally, I should have done it a long time ago, because do you want me to say with me what happened?
Well, let me set that up.
Oh, okay.
Because we are going into the next segment, which is talking about the procedures that you had done. And so if you're now joining us, this is the Audacious Confidence Show here on Dreamaniac TV, and I'm your host, Alicia Couri. I did not introduce myself at the beginning of the show because I just wanted to celebrate with everybody. So I am your host, Alicia Couri, here.
I forgot about the holiday.
And I am here. I know everybody's on lockdown, so I am here with the beautiful Maria Miliotis, my guest, and we're talking all about plastic surgery. Should you not? When to do it? When not to do it? And let's dispel any myths, any taboos about having plastic surgery done. So Maria agreed to come on the show with me. I think it was like 3 weeks or 4 weeks after you had your procedures done.
Yeah.
It was soon after, and you're like, I'm still all swollen and bruised. And
I know. I want to come on with bandages, though. If you ask me to, I'm not as vain as people think.
You are. But the thing is, it was so refreshing that we talked about this like back in November, December, when you were making the decision when to do it. And I went through with you the whole process, the whole decision-making process that you went through, deciding if to do it here in Florida or to do it in New York and with doctors and everything. I was with you on that whole journey, and I'm so excited that you said, let me come on your show and talk about it, because let's dispel some myths.
And I want women to feel good about it. When I shared the news with people, it was amazing to me that people were, I hate to say it, but judgmental in many ways, excuse me, just a little judgmental at times. And I went to a party. I remember I went to a party 3 nights before my surgery, and they're like, oh, don't you want a glass of wine? I said, no, I'm having surgery. Oh, I'm so sorry. I said, don't be sorry. I'm getting my face lifted. They're like, what? Why? You don't need to. Then it got into a big thing. I had a crowd. You look beautiful. You don't need to do it. And then I was in a situation where I had to explain myself to people. People don't do that. Don't do that. And the reason why I'm so outspoken about it is because I don't think that it's something that you have. Everyone's different, okay? I happen to be in the beauty industry. I'm around it all the time. I just don't want anyone to feel that it's shameful to try to look your best, and for them to also think putting makeup on someone, why can't I look like this? Why can't I look like that? That celebrity, is why they're
a lot of them are having it done, not saying anything,
and things like that done from a young age. So let's not lie to other women and make these women feel like they're
like something's wrong with them, and they have to keep it quiet if they do it because everybody will judge them. I saw some comments coming in, but I wanted to acknowledge some people that are commenting. So Javier says he likes the show Botch too. He's on
fun.
I'm sorry, I'm horrible at pronouncing names, but he says he's listening.
Oh,
Iqbal. Kenneth says hi on Facebook. So people are watching you, Maria.
Cool.
So let me just go back before this most recent occasion. You have had experience with plastic surgery years ago, 20-something years ago.
Yes.
So tell me about that first.
Well, I had some surgery because I had a car accident when I was younger, and I had a piece of glass that was in here, nearly killed me. Slit was engraved, and I was left with a mark underneath here. Now, when you're in your 20s, your skin has elasticity. It snaps right back. They didn't do any kind of cosmetic anything. They just kind of sewed it up. You were on your way. Years later, what happened was that I started having, well, also during that time that doesn't really have any relevance to my face. I did have I've had a little lipo done and things like that. That was my experience, but that wasn't related to my face. So years later, in my 40s, I was aging and so much quicker in this area because of the nerve endings that were damaged, and there was, there was like a rippling effect, the loss of elasticity.
Because they just pitched it. They didn't like try to.
Right, they just sewed it up, and away you go. I mean, it wasn't anything cosmetic, and I was young and firm, and this and that, and my skin was tight, and I didn't care about it at that point. But then when you start getting into your late 30s and your 40s, and you start having this rippling effect. And I'm always photographed, you know.
Right.
I mean, as Alicia knows, I was a spokesmodel on television for cosmetic products. They weren't able to put the camera. They were putting the camera. Oh, you look great like that. And they're like, oh, we can't film you.
Yeah, we can't film you from this side. And we have right.
That's your bad side. We need to film you. Oh, this side. Okay, that's better, but that ain't perfect. So, you know, they had to put me all around and everything and put my hair. And it really was not a big deal. It really wasn't. But it was when you're a model and you're on television, and or if you're even doing makeup and you're in front of the mirror in someone's wedding day and the photographer's taking photos and posting them. And like my profile, I have my hair up in my profile like this. It started to get to me in my 40s. Mm-hmm. So I went to a plastic surgeon because I work with a full array of models and actors and people that get surgery done all the time. And I went to someone when I was living in Florida and I said, can we fix this thing? Like, I need to fix it already. I'm in my 40s. Like, I've been living with this for a long time. And they said, well, you need a facelift. And even me, I said, a facelift? Oh, I'm not ready to get a facelift.
Right.
I'm 40, you know, early 40s. I said, can we do something else? All right, well, we'll do a tumescent technique that removes, you know, all of the, we just kind of suck out the fat. So we can just streamline all of this.
So any of the fat that was gathering around the stitching, they were going to get rid of.
Well, it was just like I had an indentation. And so with that indentation, it was like I had a a skin that was deeper here. And then it was like, so when they went in there, to get it all even.
Smoothed out, right?
It was to get it all even. So it wasn't like this. It was just even. So this is the thing about shortcuts. I should have actually went for that facelift to go under the muscle and pull it up. But I decided not to do it. I decided I'm going to do this technique. That didn't work. Yeah. As I got older, I put on a little bit more weight. It started looking, you know, I started losing, and it just was, and losing elasticity, because that doesn't help with the elasticity.
Right.
And that just, I think that it not only did it not help, but it probably made it worse.
Yeah.
It could have been I was aging, so the problem was getting worse. And then I went in again to a different surgeon. That was the top. He said, oh, you need a facelift. No, I'm not ready for a facelift. Well, you know, you're close to 50. You're in.
Iqbal, let me just say, Iqbal says, you're so confident and brave, Maria, not to worry about people, what they say. You look lovely and beautiful. Stay blessed and healthy. So,
thank
Javier
you so
says,
much.
More or less, what % of plastic surgery is men versus women today? I see a lot more men with facelifts and Botox. Curious what you think.
I think a lot of men, I don't know the percentage because I don't know the stats or anything like that. And I work predominantly with women, but I do know this. When I've gone to plastic surgeons and I've reviewed their before and afters, there's so many men, so many men that have things done. And I guess probably my family is a little vain. I don't want to name names, but there's a couple of men even in my family. And they're very macho Greek. And they're like, you know, they're good looking guys like a Stallone type, you know?
Right. But they get their little things done.
The eyes tucked. They had, you know, my father's like, what are you crazy? You're doing that? And then he was like, oh, that looks good. He goes, I wish it wasn't too late for me. I ought to get this thing as my neck is bothering me. I'm like, that's too late for you now.
Christina says you look beautiful, Maria. We can all benefit from a little cosmetic help. So, but that's the key. When you go and you look at those before and afters, that you see a lot of men in those books.
There's a lot of men in those. They get their eye. I think the men, what they do a lot is, a nose job.
And the bags under the eyes.
They get their eyes done, I think, more than anything. And they do get, I don't know if they get the fillers. They tend to just not go in all the time with the fillers. They tend to go in and just get things lifted and their eyes done, which I think is a wonderful thing to do. They feel confident. Yeah, they feel confident. You know, a lot of men work out and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, I look good," but then they feel like, from the neck down, they look like they're 25 years old. And then from the neck up, it's like, they so they bothers them when they look a little tired.
Right. Yeah. Get just a refreshed. So tell me everything in the time we have in this segment. Tell me everything you had done this round, because you had this fixed in your 40s and then.
Yeah. So I wanted to tell you my point. I was doing a lot of quick fixes, not wanting to do something that was invasive, thinking that these things, when my doctors have told me you need to have a lift, I was again.
Javier says, not that I need it. Sebastian says 92% women and 8% men in 2008 research results.
Okay.
So he went and got the stats. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So what I decided to do was the thing again. I said I'm not ready for the facelift. They said, well, you realize when you're older, it's much more difficult for you with the recovery. It's invasive. It's this. It's that. It's more, And I was like, well, what can we do for now? Because I don't want to get a facelift. I'm not ready. I'm too young. So they did a chin. They put a little chin implant, and they took whatever the sagging I had here that was bothering me, and they pulled it all up. They brought it in here and pulled it and cut the excess skin, and then put a little chin in there just to hold everything up. Well, I
remember you doing that before you left, just before you left for Florida.
But did I look any different at all?
You here looked different, but then you had a line under here.
Right.
You had a line that you could see the difference between what's here and the chin.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I wish I would have bypassed that and just gone straight for the lift. If I were to go back in time, I would have probably gone and gotten it lifted. So recently it's not been that long. As you can see, it looks like I've been strangled. No, I haven't been strangled. This is the recovery. It's been, I don't know how long, like maybe 3 months now. And
it was February, right?
In February, I had it done. It takes up to a year. So I went in to have this pulled. Now he went under the muscle. My doctor said to me, if we're going to get this nice and tight, we have to pull this section as well for it to just flow. Because as you age, not that you look bad now, you look good. And as a matter of fact, with your genetics, because I have pretty good genetics too.
You do. Yes, you do.
I'm
Nick said very informative, Maria. Just wanted to say that. Nick said so.
Thank you. And he said your skin looks fantastic and everything else. However, we don't want it to this is going to gradually come down and go quicker. And this is so tight. So there's a method to this.
Right.
It's artistic. It's very artistic.
It is artistic.
Pull this and pull this. And, you want to go to a good doctor, because when he did that, and I said, no one can really see the difference.
They have to really look hard to see anything different.
I feel really nice and tight. I don't have to worry about this for decades. And, you can't see anything. I mean, you can't see anything. It's only, can anyone see that anything's been cut here? No. I have this and I have this and, but they went under the muscle and it's very invasive. So I don't know if you want me to elaborate about that, but I think people should.
Yes, I do want to talk about it. Let's take a quick break and we'll come back and talk about how invasive it is, because I want people to understand the process, that it's not an easy process. This does take a lot of thought before you go into this. This isn't, I'm just going to get a little thing. So I want to give people the down low.
Whoa, no.
So we are back. This is the Audacious Confidence Show, Dreamaniac TV, and I am your host, Alicia Couri, here with Maria Miliotis, and we're talking plastic surgery. And before we went on that break, we were talking about how invasive the procedure is to actually get have what she had done. And we're going to get a little bit graphic. We're not going to get too graphic, but we're going to get a little bit graphic in a second. So Maria, come on back up.
Hi.
Hi.
No, I don't want to get too graphic, and I don't want to relive that
Right.
experience. And
But
everybody has a different experience.
everybody does. But
Everybody,
I just want to talk about, you said they went under the muscle. Where did they cut? And how was your like recovery time? Because you had to wear the bandages for something. So explain where they cut, how they pulled, and all of that, and why it took you so long to make the decision to do it.
well, it's brutal. So, what was the last question? Why the decision was so long? What was the last question, Alicia?
Yes. Why did it take you so long to make the decision? Because you said you kept putting it off.
Oh, taking so long. Well, one of the reasons was it's not cheap. You do have to set money aside and plan for it. And also, I think that whenever anyone is having surgery, they want to also make sure that they have the right doctor, that they're making the right decision. You're basically going to be put under and have someone take your face apart and put it back together. So I think that that's something that you need to consider. And also I felt like I was young because I'm really fine with the way that I look. I think I'm an attractive woman. It was never that I didn't have confidence. So I thought, oh, I'll wait a little longer. I look good.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then it was like, they had a really good point. I'm glad I did it because I would not, at least for me, maybe I'm sensitive and I'm not that tough, but I will not be put under 10 years from now.
Right. Yeah.
That right now. That's
one of the processes you have to think
about. That's not happening.
Being under for hours, for elective surgery is not that much fun. So tell me, where did they cut?
So I did not want to know all the details because if I were to see, there's videos. If anyone is curious, you can see the videos on there, live videos. I'm sure.
What is it called again? What was it called?
I mean, I just had a facelift. I don't know what
You said it was something kind of facelift. You did give it a name.
Well, I maybe gave you a fancy terminology for it.
You gave me a fancy terminology.
I don't even want to try to pronounce it now, but I mean, they basically, when you get a facelift, not just mine, your face is being taken off your face and your face is coming off and being put back together, basically. So like,
it's like my ears were hanging off.
Your ears sliced off, this is like out and pulled and cut, and this is out, and the muscle goes in there, and they pull, that's some serious stuff right there. So that's not the profession I would choose to be in. But
I know, neither me. Javier says, I want the coordinates of the cuts. Give me I want all the coordinates.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, that's fine. No, but you didn't have anything up here done. It was just
I haven't had anything up here. And I have to say something. I have kudos. If someone, I don't like to talk about doctors live and things like that. If anyone wants to message me personally and ask me, I'd be happy to give that information. But I had an amazing doctor. And, he said to me, because you know what, Maria, you don't really need much, and you don't want to do everything at one time. What I suggest is all of this. This is separate. He said, right. Let's wait on that. And I'm so glad because I don't know, when I see these shows, I'm like, these people are nuts. They get all of this stuff at one time. Oh, I'm being put under. I might as well, they might as well just have a field day on my face. No.
Yeah, because the healing process was really, really tough.
For 3 days, okay, I had to have 24-hour care. This is something for everyone to know. Do not think that you're going to go out of the country or out of the state, much less out of the state, out of the country. You have to be able to see your doctor repeatedly in case things come up. Thank God I was in the comfort of my home. I've stayed with Alicia. Her family's like my family. But let me tell you something. to have someone I would have had to stay with her for a month and actually, or longer, because you have to go in. A proper doctor will want follow-up visits. You may need cortisone shots. You may need some sort of other kinds of therapy.
And if you have any kind of infection that develops.
Anything can happen. It doesn't mean that it's not a good doctor and things like this. Just things happen, And let me tell you, I had a roommate that's a very good friend. She was staying here short term. She moved to New York. And she said, I'm going to stay, during your surgery. In addition to her, I had a friend that came from New Jersey and moved in with me, had to sleep with me in my bed because I couldn't even get up to go to the bathroom. I had to constantly stay hydrated. I was sipping of the straw. I couldn't talk. I was like, I had 2 people as my servants that weren't working, that were waiting on me 24 hours a day, had to bathe me, had to clean my stitches all behind my head, had to, I could get into details, take me to the bathroom. I couldn't even go. I had bags of blood because the blood was constantly dripping. So you've got bags of blood that are going to be on the side of, not to get too gory.
You already got gory, girl.
I'm just saying, it's like, this is like, wow, my friends were in pain watching me.
Watching it.
They were exhausted from taking care of me. My one friend went back to Jersey and she's like, I had to take a week to recover because it was like she had to run to go get my medication and she had to, do this, do that. It's like a constant. It's a constant. And then you have
the recovery process is
over 2 weeks. You have to sleep like this. So I'm just saying, make sure you have an excellent doctor. Make sure that you have people that are willing to take care of you. You cannot be by yourself. They're like, oh, I got this. No, girl, you don't. I don't care how tough you think you are. Okay? You can't even get up. And I don't like to medicate myself with, tons of drugs, but I'm like, I forget, what was that? It wasn't morphine. It was something that everyone gets addicted to. Anyway, I just, Oxycontin. Yeah. Uh-huh. I said, give me one of those. No. I'm not feeling. Yeah. And I'm one of these that I don't like. I was like, I don't care. If I get, I'll take my chance at getting addicted because I'm not living like that.
It was too painful.
And when you're on that, how do you get up to go? How do you get up to get a drink of water? And you can't eat. You have to mash your food and like this, like you can't do anything. So it's dangerous. So these are kinds of things that I don't really think that they explain to when you go to a plastic surgeon. You sign up, then they give you all this information. You're like, oh wow, I got to do this and I got to do that. And it's a whole. You have to orchestrate this whole event. So make sure before and after and all of this, that it's the blood work, the helping.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I don't regret it. I'm so glad I did it.
And that you did it now. Now that you are, can I say your age? I don't know.
Yeah.
Now that you're 50.
Right.
So that was your birthday present, your 50th birthday present for yourself.
That was my birthday present. Yeah.
Very cool. And Nick says TMI, Maria, TMI.
Too much info? What?
Bags of blood. Oh.
Bags of blood. You wanted to know.
Listen, guys that are watching, childbirth is not fun and it's not easy either. And it's gross. All right. You see in the movies and you see on TV all this, oh, look at the beautiful baby, but you don't see the day after, the day, of all the other stuff that goes on. So
it's important for people to know. Nick, I had no idea. Is it Nick that said TMI? I totally get it. But you know what? They don't tell you that you're being sent home. When I woke up,
tell you when you're in labor either.
That were hanging on the side, and I was wrapped, and I was like, "What is this?" No one told me that I had 2 bags of blood dripping in the things that I was going to be sent home like that. They don't tell you. So I just want people to know that these are certain I had an amazing doctor. I adore him. And
Yeah,
my friend. But
it's definitely worth it. The results are stunning. Yeah, she's
Oh, thank
no
you.
pain, no gain, Jackie. That's right. But you know, it's really eye-opening, and I really appreciate that you're open and honest about all of this, because it's true. They don't tell you the recovery process in detail, and everybody heals
No.
differently. I understand that, but there are things that everybody is going to have to deal with.
Yes.
And
And I don't want to make other women feel bad. Maybe other women don't have the tools to know how to do their hair and makeup the way I do in my business. Perhaps they don't have the information that I have. So I like to empower women, and I like to tell them, listen, I work at looking good. Anyone can look good. And they're, oh, well, you know, you're so pretty and you're 50 years old and all this stuff. Guess what? I had some help. I know how to fix myself up.
right.
I do skincare, I do my hair, I do my makeup. When I go out, I have a good dermatologist, I have a plastic surgeon. I don't want women to feel like, oh, well, what's wrong with me? You know, when you have a good hair, women, celebrities, they don't walk out looking, you know, like.
Except right now that nobody's getting their hair done or their nails done or anything done.
I mean, I've had my better days myself, but.
But no, it really does help when you know how to pull yourself together. It really does help. Or if you have help to pull yourself together. And like I said at the beginning, I haven't
people to help you.
Yeah, I haven't ruled out plastic surgery. It's just that it's not something that is forefront of my mind. So I'm really appreciative that at 50, you know, both of us at 50, you can come and give a different perspective than I would ever have. I couldn't possibly talk to someone about plastic surgery at 50. It's just not my experience. But I'm glad that, you know, you were so open and you were so great. You were like, I want to come and talk and tell everybody about everything.
I want to tell them about it because
we were going to have before and after pictures, but you couldn't find them. So,
well, I can post them after maybe, and people ask me for them. I'll get them from my doctor. I haven't had a chance to go in to see my doctor where they do the profile, the before and after. So if anyone's interested,
we can put it in the chat. But the thing is,
I just want people to feel like, you know, it's a lie out there where everyone is like you too can look. Don't feel like, oh, you know, these women are like, oh, well, you know, I have a fast metabolism, or, you know, I just age like my mother. Guess what? Sometimes we need a little help, and sometimes people have tricks, ladies. So don't don't compare yourself and think that
don't shame other people.
Don't shame and I don't like, listen, I guess everybody's allowed to be private if they want to, but I feel like it's my duty being in the business that I am going to let you know. I work with women. They have tricks up their sleeve, and many of them are doing things. So don't feel like, you know, you feel helpless.
Don't feel condemned if you decide that that's the route that you want to go. And again, Maria said you can reach out to her personally, Maria Miliotis, if you want some more information about how to research a doctor, who her doctors were, how to find, you know, any information that you want to find out about having any kind of procedure done. Don't feel, you know, feel free to reach out to her. She looks refreshed. You look like you're just refreshed, like you're 30 years old again.
I know.
Like you were pulled to the nines. Like they didn't take everything and just pull everything back, and you're like, ooh, I can't.
No, I like movement.
Refreshed and beautiful.
You know, I just feel refreshed, and I look, and I don't have to worry about this scar that I used to have that was bothering me. That was really bothering me.
Right.
And it's not about,
but that had nothing to do with your self-confidence or the love of yourself. It was just something that bothered you.
Listen, I didn't have that problem. I'm a confident woman, and I knew that I was, I've always known that I'm a desirable woman. And I met someone before I had this surgery, and he thought I looked fantastic, and he's like, okay. And then after the surgery, he thought I looked fantastic. Did he like me more or less? I don't think so. I think we had an attraction, and with or without.
There's more to just this. But I got to wrap it up. I saw some other amazing comments come through from Denise. Love that you tell it like it is, Maria. And she said, you're beautiful inside and out, my friend. Yes, she is. Jacqueline says, thank you, ladies. You look very natural. So,
yeah. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming and being open to share, Maria. I really appreciate you. I love you, sister.
Thank you.
And we'll see each other soon, hopefully.
Now, if anybody wants to connect with me, I'll also give you some tricks on how to get the right doctor for a very good rate.
Yes. So go to the studio at Dreamaniac.com if you have any more questions on this episode, or just connect with Maria. So, bye-bye, sweetie.
Bye.
So that was our first episode in season 4 here on Dreamaniac TV of the Audacious Confidence Show. And I just want everyone to know that, here on the show, we really just want to tackle topics about confidence, really let you understand that confidence comes in all shapes and sizes. It comes from different types of experiences. And the key is really to love yourself and be confident and really secure within yourself for who you are. And that's really where your center of confidence comes from. So this is Alicia Couri signing off on the Audacious Confidence Show. And I want to let you know that I want you to dare to be brave, to step boldly in the direction of your dreams. And don't forget, on Dreamaniac TV, we love to say that you dream big and we make it happen. Good night, everybody. Mwah. Hi, Alicia Couri here. If you enjoyed that episode of the Audacious Confidence Show, check out more on this channel. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. And if you hit that notification button, you won't miss a single episode.